Welcome to Brawlhalla!
Hello everybody and welcome to another training room tutorial video. This time it's going to be on the Blaster's weapon set, also commonly referred to as the guns, and once again I'm your host Raidhyn from Blue Mammoth Games. So the guns are an interesting weapon that work a little bit differently from some of the other ones in Brawlhalla, and you know, it's one of those things where a lot of new players seem to have trouble picking it up. So I'm just going to be going through all of the individual moves on the guns to kind of talk about what they're good for, how to use them, what kind of techniques you can use with each move, you know, what some of the potential combos are, and just try to you know, encourage you guys to pick up some legends who are using the guns and try them out. So here we go. Let's talk about the guns. This is going to be good. So the first up is neutral on the ground. It's this multi-hitting move. You get 2 shots if you miss, and when you connect, you get 3. Let's go ahead and just turn on the damage really quick so you guys can see what's up. So 3 shots here. It does a pretty good amount of damage. Like most moves on the guns, they do slightly higher damage than other weapons just because of the way that the guns work. So with the neutral, you basically want to use this when they're about this distance from you, or you think they're going to be dodging into this distance. If they end up stacked, you're going to miss, and if they end up too far away, you're also going to miss. There are better moves to use if you're at this distance or this distance, so you really want to get used to only using this when they're at this specific distance from you. Now, one of the other advantages that this move has is it pops them up in the air, allowing for follow-ups depending on what character you're using, among other things. So, you know, just because it doesn't have any force, you can always kind of rely on them to be in the same kind of space nearby. And while there are no true combos, there are definitely some really tight strings and, you know, different mix-up opportunities that you can use when you hit this. You can also kind of expect people to dodge immediately after getting hit by this. So, you know, a lot of times you can hit this, and if they dodge towards you, you can, you know, recovery them afterwards, among other things. Alright, so that's the neutral light. Next, let's talk about side light. So side light's great because, and this move back in the day, I nicknamed it the signature stuffer, because this move will pretty much stop anything just because of the distance that it has. You know, you can see here that this is going to miss. This is always going to hit when they're at this distance far away from you, and it's pretty much one of the longest reaching normal moves in the game. Now, it doesn't have a lot of force to it. It does put them in this kind of interesting position that is also occasionally useful to be followed up by chase dodges. So just know that when you're not, when you can't hit with this, that this move is a really quick option. You can cover a lot of space by side lighting and then doing some other move afterwards, just because the recovery on it is pretty fast. So definitely make sure that you're using this move and kind of mixing it in there with a lot of your other options. All right, so that's the side light. Lucian, you need to go, buddy. All right, there we go. All right, so next up is downlight. Downlight is really interesting because unlike your other grounded blaster moves that hit far away, this attack is going to hit people while they're stacked, which is part of what makes it absolutely critical to understand the use for this move, because where this is going to miss and where this is going to miss, this move is going to hit. Now, the disadvantage to this is because of how many active frames this move has, you are in animation for quite a while, so if they jump over this, you're gonna get punished. However, what's nice about it is that it does combo into side light pressure for a nice chunk of damage, and it's pretty easy to pull off. You just have to instant jump side air afterwards to be able to get this downlight combo. It also does the same thing as side light, where it's gonna pop them up into that airborne position so that you can follow up with different things afterwards. So just remember, you know, all these grounded gun tools, they're gonna put people in the air, and your follow-ups are gonna be slightly different based on which one you're using, and you know, just how swaggy you think you can make your follow-ups. Excuse me as I use one of my favorite adjectives. All right. Let's go ahead and start talking about the air game now. We're going to start off with down air. Down air is really interesting because not only is it going to stop anybody who's approaching you from below with stuff like unarmed uppercuts, this beats that all day. It beats a lot of other recovery moves in the game as well. But what's great about it is you can actually use this as an approach tool to get over a lot of low-to-the-ground moves. I'm looking at you, Sword Downlight. In addition to just kind of being a great pressure tool because now you're in this air position where, you know, if people are jumping, you're also going to catch them with these hitboxes and other things. So downlight is definitely an awesome approach tool, and you can even combo afterwards depending on what health level you're at. Not at this health level because he's red already. So let's get him out of here. But after downlight, you can do gravity cancels into combos, and you can also combo into falling side air in some cases, depending on the angle in which you hit, among other things. So just know that there are a lot of options for follow-ups after down air, and it's a really, really strong approach tool on guns if you're trying to get in and kind of keep that pressure up. So yeah, that's guns down air. Side air is a great move, but not in the way that you would traditionally use other side airs in the game. Side air on guns does about the same amount of damage, but it has much lower force than other side airs, and a big part of the reason for this is because of the fact that it just covers so much space, it has such long active frames, and you can use this in a way that really covers the space in front of you. You can use it to cover both the air and the ground approaches, and it's just an all-around amazing tool for everything except knockouts. So you can use this to safely build damage. You can see here, you know, where other side airs might have killed Lucian by now. It takes a very long time before you can build up enough damage to kill with the side air. So if you're looking for a knockout on guns, you're going to want to use a recovery, a ground pound, or a signature, because side air is not your go-to the way that it is with a lot of other weapons. You can use this. You can use the side air, however, for a whole number of other things, you know, with spacing and approaching and the rest of it. So just understand that you're not going to get KOs as quickly, but it's still really great for approaching and also for kind of keeping players out who like to approach you in the air. All right, next up, we are going to go over neutral. So for this, we're going to set Lucian to jump, and Lucian's going to do some nice jumps for us. So neutral air is your tool for nice escalator combos. This pretty much will stuff any grounded attack that people are coming after you with. It will beat most ground pounds in the game. It can even beat hammer ground pound if you time it just correctly. Now, it does not true combo any longer. It used to be a hard combo, neutral air into recovery, but we kind of removed that because it was getting oppressive at certain levels. But just know that this move has great priority, and you can use it, and you can still go for this combo, and if someone does not have their dodge available, oftentimes you can still land it if you're catching people unawares. So just know, you know, down airs for when people are below you, neutral airs for when people are above you, and then you're pretty much good to go. All right, last up, we're going to talk about ground pound and recovery. So ground pound's really interesting, and it's one of your best knockout options on guns if you have someone off the side. What's interesting about this, and we're going to set Lucian to stand real quick, what's interesting about this is that it actually pops you up off the ground, meaning that you'll go over certain moves in the game that have very low to the ground hitboxes. Now, part of why this is useful too is because your recovery time ends while you're in the air. What this means is that if you're pressing a button again, you'll actually get an air attack before ever touching the ground. And part of why this is so useful is because you can do things like ground pounding into your air moves right away, depending on what type of health they're at, or if you miss the ground pound, you can down air immediately and possibly hit them while they're in the middle of, you know, trying to attack you with another move. So ground pound is really useful. You know, you can even use it like that, where it bounces them up off the platform, and then you can follow up the recovery. So just know that the ground pound on guns has much more utility than a lot of other ground pounds in the game with other weapons, and you can use it in a variety of ways to kind of get different setups going. Once you've got somebody off the edge, ground pound is going to be one of your better tools for downward knockouts. It does a really great spike. It will kill at orange. It's just a little bit harder to hit and doesn't have quite the same priority as some other ground pounds. But it's definitely something that you want to be looking for. It also does a pretty significant amount of damage. It's going to do more damage than your other air moves. So, you know, just think about incorporating it into your game and make sure that it's mixed into everything. All right, so finally we're going to go over recovery. And we've seen a lot of recoveries throughout this video, you know, because recovery is probably your most reliable knockout tool just because you can land it in punish situations, you can land recoveries after certain strings, in addition to just all around being an excellent tool to have in your arsenal. But as you can see there, and this is part of the reason why a lot of new players who are new to guns can get put off, is because if you steer incorrectly while this move is active, you can drop the move and the other guy can escape from it. Part of the reason why we've done this is because it has so much steerability compared to other recoveries. Like this move will cover the horizontal distance of about half the screen. The trade-off is that when landing it, you really do need to steer it, because otherwise you can hit, you know, one or two of these things and then miss the final hit if you're steering incorrectly. So to steer correctly, what you want to do is you want to land the hit and then just hold the up button. So long as you're not coming at it too hard, like say out of a chase dodge or something, holding up after your first hitbox connects will ensure that you're going to get the rest of them. So it's just something that you want to practice, you know, hop into the training room, just work a little bit on landing your recoveries. But as we've seen throughout the course of this video, it's a really good move to get used to using, simply because of the fact that it is one of your more reliable recovery options, and it also does a nice chunk of damage compared to, say, you know, neutral light, or neutral air rather. Alright, so that pretty much covers it for the guns. I'm going to be including some clips of gameplay here towards the end, just to give you an idea of what guns play looks like in certain situations. Hopefully this video is valuable to you. If it was, please let me know in the comments below. I'm really excited to be doing all of the weapons in the game in this type of format. If you guys have ideas for things that you want me to cover outside of Weapons and Legends, do let me know in the comments below. I'm going to make sure that I read through all of them. But for now, this has been another training room tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.